The last time you see my yard, it was beaten up, broken down, and ready to give up. Now, the quest for neighborhood domination continues. Let's get out of the weeds. So sorry it's been a couple weeks since I've been able to put out a new video. We've been very busy over this last week as me and my wife and our 2 daughters welcomed our 3rd baby girl into the world, little baby Aria. And so she came a little earlier than what we were expecting. And so out of nowhere, my wife gave me a call this past Monday on the 19th and said, hey, I'm sent to the hospital. And so I went to the hospital, and a few hours later, we welcomed her into the world. And so we've been really busy with that, really excited to have a 3rd baby girl with us. And so that's kind of why everything's kind of been a little off schedule for my channel here. And so today I want to get into seeding and doing fall renovation on new lawns, so when you don't have any grass at all to work with. And so I did a couple projects. One, I helped one of my friends out who's in a new home. In the back side, no seed came up at all. And so I helped him kind of seed from complete bare ground at his house. And then I went to Ohio this past weekend, and I actually did some seeding at my parents' house because they had some renovation done on their home and getting new cement in and everything. And so it tore up all the grass that they had. And so I had a completely new seeding job to do at my parents' house. And both jobs were slightly different, both with the same steps as far as seeding, but both had their kind of own little nuances and things with them to make them slightly different. Now, it won't be as in-depth as my previous videos, so for the actual in-depth steps on each thing that I did, reference my past video on my full fall renovation guide. Also in this video, I want to give you guys an update on my own lawn, as it's been a couple weeks since I did the renovations and that on my lawn, and it is really looking good. Now, I've mowed my lawn, I believe, twice since I did my renovations. I waited as long as I could. My grass was getting really high, so I had to mow it a couple times, and it's actually pretty long right now, so I'm getting ready to mow it here in just a little bit. But I want to show you guys how my lawn is looking so far. So you can see here, it's a nice green color, and look right here. It's hard to even tell because it's starting to blend in, but that's all. It was all completely a bare patch here a little bit ago. And if you notice, I'll show you some pictures from before. My backyard was really looking bad before I did everything, but you can see, man, it's really looking good. And then over here with my side yard, you can see here, it is just a nice dark green color, and is looking really good, really thick and healthy. And so it's really long right now, and slightly overgrown. So I'm getting ready to actually mow it right now. So I want to show you guys a before and after of what the lawn looks like after I mow it. And I'm going to put down some nice stripes. Okay, so I just got done mowing, so you can see here, man, a huge difference from what it looked like before I did all my aeration and overseeding. And so this is what happens. You go, let your lawn just kind of rest there, give it adequate water and stuff after your overseed and everything, and it'll come back and reward you for all your hard work. And so the lawn's back, looking good, and ready to dominate the rest of the season. So last time I put out a video talking about my full fall renovation and talking through all the steps that you need to do to get down seed, fertilizer, to overseed, to run an aerator. I did a little bit of everything. But one thing that's slightly different that I didn't cover that much in is actually seeding from just bare ground. So now the process is going to be pretty much the same as when you're doing kind of your aeration and overseed. But the first thing you really want to make sure is preparing that area to be able to receive the seed and fertilizer. So the issue we ran into at the house when I had the aerator was that the ground was very hard. I mean, literally it was like cement. And so what we had to do was get water put on it to help try to loosen it up so that the aerator could actually get into the ground a little bit. Well, you can see here, I'll show you on the screen, it ended up turning it into kind of almost like a mud pit. It was very slick, but it did help work everything up. So it's very critical before you put any seed or fertilizer down that you have the area prepared to be able to take that. Now, here in Ohio, my father-in-law actually came down to my parents' house with a tiller and actually tilled up the area we're going to be working in. And so it's all loosened up, ready to just be raked even, and then it's ready to go. So if you have areas that have no grass at all, it's critical to make sure you really work up that area to loosen everything up before you get started. And then now once you have your area all loosened up, you can just follow the same procedures with putting down your grass seed, your fertilizer, and then finish off with your peat moss. And so I'll show you guys a look at what we're going to be working with today. Okay, so here's a section of it. And so just to kind of give you an idea, it is a big section of the lawn. So they do have grass over there. We are going to do some overseeding and stuff to help them out. But you have this big area here where there's literally no grass at all right now. And so it doesn't only extend there, but it also comes over here and then leading up to where their pool is. And so all the way up here to the front, and I'll show you guys, it continues all the way up here. And then even a good deal of their curb strips they got. So now also one critical thing to make sure you do is to make sure you get out any kind of big rocks or roots that you see sticking up. And so we're actually going to be taking out some of these areas with some roots. There's some here, and then there's even some down here with roots and stuff we're going to be getting out of the ground before we seed, because all that's going to inhibit any of the stuff we're trying to do here. So now really step one is going to be making sure that everything's level, especially because this got tilled up. If you're running an aerator, it really shouldn't do much to the level of your lawn, just because it's not really tearing things up quite like a tiller does. And so if you just have an aerator and you're doing that and just kind of working things up, you probably don't really have to do too much raking to level. But if you have spots that aren't level, make sure you do some raking in that. Well, here, since it got tilled up, we'll definitely have to kind of move some dirt around, make sure everything's level. And so that's going to be step one for us today. And then after that, we're going to be able to get into our typical seeding and fertilizing and putting down the peat moss to finish it all off. Now, one area that I want to talk about, and it's of importance is here, is if you notice behind me that walkway going up to the swimming pool, it is on a slope, so it goes up. It's not on the same level as what I am down here when I'm standing. If I go up here, I'm on an incline. And so anytime you're working with any kind of slopes, this is part of the reason why I love peat moss so much, is because when it gets wet, it holds things down and can really help on those slopes. And so you can see here behind me, if we're on any kind of a slope and they get a really, really heavy rain, it can wash all your seed and everything down to the bottom of the slope. And we don't want that to happen. And so if you're working on a slope, it's very critical to pay attention to those parts to make sure you have that peat moss down there real nice. And so that way it tries to help hold everything in. And look what we have here. Grubs. Okay, so yesterday we had a very long day. I thought I was going to be able to get the whole thing done in just the day yesterday, but we literally spent the whole day yesterday just kind of preparing the areas for the new seed. It's very important that you get it right. And so I'll show you guys kind of what we have going on here. So you can see here, they want to put in some kind of these stone kind of a walkway there over to the garage. And so we spent a lot of time putting those into the ground. You want to really make sure they're level and everything, so they're not sticking up too much to be a tripping hazard. And then we had to bring in a lot of topsoil here to fill everything in. One of the issues they had coming off their patio was that the dirt was way below the patio, and so it could easily be like a tripping hazard. It was almost like you were falling, or it was almost like you were stepping off of the patio down into the grass, where you wanted to kind of be not as drastic. You wanted to kind of be pretty level. We had a ton of roots down in this area and in the area over there. And so that took a long time getting all those roots out. Then we put in those stones there to kind of be a walkway up to the sidewalk. And so everything's looking good. Now it's time to put down some seed. Okay, so here's the look after I put down the seed. And so we bought plenty of seed. So you want to do a generous amount if you have a lot of seeds. So you don't want to go overkill on it and make sure that it smothers it, but you do want to get a nice, good, thick layer of some seed down there. Okay. And so I'm here with my lawn expert, Olivia. And so we hope you guys enjoyed this video. And
a beautiful lawn.
Look right here. Look right here at the camera right there. Say, no, right here, this part right here. Say, no, when you look back, look over here at this. See that little dot there? No, don't turn your head. Just move your eyes. Your eyes there. Yep, right there. Say, we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
When we get out of the weeds.
When we get out of the weeds.
Into a beautiful lawn.
Into a beautiful lawn.
Can you say that by yourself?
We'll get out of the weeds in a beautiful lawn.
Out of the weeds into a beautiful lawn. Can you say that?
You will do out of the weeds and into a beautiful
Talk
lawn.
loud. Why are you talking like you're shy? Are you being nervous?
No.
You seem like you're being nervous. Are you nervous?
No, I'm not.
Talk loud so people can hear you. We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time on a beautiful lawn.
No, when we get out of the weeds.
And get out the weeds and a beautiful lawn.
Into a beautiful lawn.
Into a beautiful lawn.
Good. So say it slowly, but look at the camera. Look over here. Remember at the camera? Say, we'll see you next time when we get out of the weeds into a beautiful lawn. Is that pretty good?
We did it twice.
We did it twice? We did it like 100 times.
100, I count to 100.
Say, out of the weeds.
Out of the weeds.
Into a beautiful lawn.
Into a beautiful lawn.
What? That didn't sound nice.
La la la. But you did it. La 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 la.
Say, out of the weeds.
Outwards.
Into a beautiful lawn.
Into a beautiful lawn.
Out of the weeds into a beautiful lawn.
Out of the weeds into the lawn.
What? A what lawn? A beautiful lawn.
Hear me count to 100.
What?
10.
No, we don't got time for that.
10, 20,
We don't got
30,
time for that.
40, 50,
We don't got
60,
time for that.
70, 80.